The equipment needed is a piece of paper from your sketchbook, pencil, ruler, biro or fine line pen, paper for a template, embroidery hoop, embroidery thread, fabric, needle and a pair of scissors. When stitching on a fabric that has a pattern or print on it, it's very tempting to just stitch around the outline of the pattern. What this exercise will hopefully help you to do is to view your pattern in a different way and to use a straight stitch to reveal a curved pattern. Begin by drawing a 5 cm square. Be sure to use your sketchbook paper for this, as it will be a good thickness. You're going to use this part for a template. Once you've drawn your 5 cm square, you're then going to draw your curve shape inside. Be sure that you don't draw your curve too small, otherwise you're not going to be able to see the detail clearly. The curved shape can start and finish on the same edge of your square, or it can begin and end on different edges, as I'm about to draw here. Once happy with your shape, you can then cut out neatly using paper scissors. In your sketchbook, draw a 15 cm square. Divide this into 9 smaller 5 cm squares by marking a line at 5 cm and 10 cm along the edges. Then within your 9 squares, draw around your template very lightly in pencil. Remember to always put your curve in the same spot so each square is identical. You now need to think about adding your patterns. Consider how you can distinguish between the curve section of the image and the background section. I'm using long lines here, and I'm going to go in one direction for the curve and then in another direction for the background. It's completely up to you the patterns you will create. The things to remember are that you can only use a straight stitch, that could be a long stitch, a running stitch or a back stitch, and that there must be a very clear definition between the curve and the background. Once finished, decide on the 4 that you are going to stitch. In the middle of your fabric, draw a 10 by 10 cm square and divide that into 4. Then, very lightly, draw the patterns that you wish to stitch onto your fabric. It is up to you to decide the thickness of your thread. Here I'm using 2 strands of embroidery thread. You could experiment with different thicknesses, and this would help you distinguish between the background and then the curved shape. For example, you could use 2 strands of thread for the zigzag, and then for the curved shape you could use 4 or 6 strands to have a more defined line. Here I'm using the back stitch method to create the zigzag pattern. For the rest of the lines and all the rest of the patterns, I'll be using the long stitch as demonstrated here. Once you have finished, you need to decide how you are going to display these in your sketchbook. Remember to use a title, to make sure your borders are nice and neat, and that any fabric samples are finished off neatly with either a stitch or a hem.